What do you make of this development? The two Kenyans being here for 39 days, they were looked for by lawyers. There were motions moved in court, and the state declined, saying they didn't know where they were. And then suddenly, we actually are told by the president that they have actually been around here under custody.
Is the incidence new to East Africa? It isn't. We have had Kenyans in Tanzania in a similar scenario. We have had our own, and I think a regular participant in Spectrum at Haile, our own in Tanzania. And when it happens here, to me it is not a surprise, because this region, there are also some countries here which we even don't talk about, because they are known to be lethal for them, very silent but very lethal in handling such scenarios. What is unfortunate, such as things undermine the East African cooperation, because some people take these things personally, and when they are talking behind the doors in their own country, they begin to say, do we really need to federate with these people? Therefore, it's the sign. Two, we have an example, our own Besigye. The way he was captured in Kenya, brought to Uganda, it is similar scenarios that happen. Therefore, what we should call upon the East African Federation, if we believe in it, to observe the rule of law and to respect the citizens of this region, irrespective of where they were found.
All right.
If we are talking about East African cooperation, it should be normal for anybody concerned of uniting East Africa that somebody can come from Uganda, goes to Tanzania, and oversee the electoral process, from Kenya to Uganda, from Uganda to Kenya, but it does not happen. Why? Because we have not yet transformed into what we call democracy. We are still in what do we call them? Some are not, they are not yet to that extreme dictatorial regime, but some are already there. There is high-handedness, and lastly, there is a semblance of what we call militarism. And militarism is not a science, it's just a state of the mind. That's why, as I think Chemong has put it, trying to explain to us what the president meant by saying they are putting in the fridge, that they were keeping them in ungazetted places so that they are not easily traceable, and if, for example, anything happened to them and one died or both died, nobody would be responsible.
All right. Amos, let's hear from you very quickly on this issue of the Kenyans.
Anderson, this is a little bit emotional of how the Kenyans activists were handled in Uganda. I'd refer to a court decision that was issued on 22nd October by the Civil Division of the High Court in Uganda, when we went to court to seek for a writ of habeas corpus for them to be produced. In that decision, court held that if I find that one cannot squeeze blood from a stone, the state cannot produce. The state can only produce what it has, and it would therefore be unrealistic to expect the desired outcome from the circumstances that could not in any case yield it. You find that in that decision, court equated that requiring the state to produce these two Kenyans, it would be tantamount to squeezing blood from a stone. It is actually went on and concluded that these were voluntary disappearances, maybe out of an accident, maybe death, or even that they were not even in Uganda. The fundamental question would be, the right to liberty is non-derogable in Uganda. The writ of habeas corpus is non-derogable. It's fundamental to our constitutional law and the rule of law. If court can issue such an order, to whom shall we run for protection? Who is the guardian of the masses in Uganda? So it's highly concerning over how we can derogate the law to that extent. But even beyond that, the conditions, the audios that are being narrated by these Kenyans, what they found in the safe houses that we are having in Uganda, where they were held in Kasenyi, over 150 people held incommunicado, without having been produced to court. Their whereabouts is completely unknown. 2, the international perspective, how we liaise with international diplomats and the like. For example, the 2 Kenyans are saying that they found their Nigerians, one South African, and other people. Where does that leave the state of our country vis-a-vis when the president comes out openly and owns this, that we had them in our coolers? If people are held over an offense, why not producing them in courts of law?
All right. On themselves here and the statements made by the president.
I think for me, the president is the chief of command, and he enjoys a lot of intelligence and consumes it on a daily basis. He is briefed of what is happening in the country. So I'm not surprised that he put out that information out. I think it's in the manner how that information was put out that exhibited the highest level of impunity. That the head of state is aware that there are individuals who are held in communicado, and nothing is happening. The Kenya has called for their citizens to be released. There have been a lot of call by different layers, but there's been really very little happening until when they thought that it was right for them to be released. But for me, it speaks to 2 things. The first is the impunity that I think the NRM government continues to exhibit in terms of the abuses of human rights, which is a very key thing, despite the fact that you have individuals, both technical and those that serve in the political wing, be key defenders of the Constitution, under which he has served in the highest human rights offices
in Geneva.
And seeing some of these things happening in a government that he supports is despicable. The other is, for me, around the respect, but also the strength of institutions. Because we saw that the judiciary came out very strongly to give its position on that matter. We had the police, which also has exercised some level of autonomy. And
all the state organs say they don't know where they are.
They don't know where they are. And again, it speaks to the fact there are individuals like Sam Mugumya who up to today no information is available of their whereabouts. And so I think that when institutions are broken down to serve the interest of individuals, democracy is undermined, but also the respect of the rule of law and the respect of human dignity is undermined.
All right. Let's go to Major Awish. Major Awish, we want to hear your thoughts on this issue of the Kenyan brothers who were found